Data is the new oil. See, a lot of people have service-based businesses, maybe they're coaches online, and they're going through their journey doing things to get clients that are not in tune with this simple fact that data is the new oil. Let me ask you a question. If you knew everything about your prospect, where they lived, what they did, how they did it, where they did it, what they liked, all of these facts about your prospect, literally down to the T, you would probably be able to get a lot more sales because you knew literally everything about them. Am I wrong? No. That's exactly why people, when they start businesses, they do things such as market research. Have you ever been, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a business person. In business school, they teach you to do market research. They teach you that you need to, when you start a business, you need to go to somebody, maybe look at some demographic, psychographic information about them, relate them to a profile, categorize them in a specific way to basically see, okay, this is my market. I'm going to do market research. And you collect the data yourself, right? And I find this quite interesting because there's so much going on around us that's literally at the tip of our nose that we're not even realizing, right? So in this video, if you invest this 10 minutes with me today, I'm going to teach you what I know about data. And I don't mean data in a boring way. I mean data in the type of way where I was able to put literally $1 into this machine and get $10 out. I was able to invest and get a 10x return on my investment. So imagine a stock where you put $1 in and you get $10 out, right? So basically, if I put 1,000 in, I'll get 10,000 out. If you invest this 10 minutes with me here today, however long this video is, I guarantee you'll get that same result. Let's jump into it. So number one, there's this big misconception about people wanting to know what they're selling. They're banging in their offer. They're banging in their sales ability, all their sales stuff, all their content here, Reels this, TikTok this, right? They're focusing on kind of what you're selling. You know, I'm a personal trainer. I'm selling health services. I'm a physiotherapist. I'm selling looser muscles. I'm an online coach. I'm selling social media skills, whatever, right? But a lot of people, what they don't realize is who you're selling to is more important than what you're selling. And you're going to see what I mean here, right? So it's quite simple. And I said this kind of in the introduction. If you know everything about your customer to the T, right? To the freaking T, then you can easily have market omnipresence. What is market omnipresence? It's where you basically live in your customer's subconscious brain, right? In your prospect's subconscious brain, where they're thinking about you all the time, where they're like, oh my God, this guy's content is so amazing. Oh my God, I want to buy this guy's service when he releases his next thing. Oh my God, I'd love if this guy was able to help me. See, you know who lives in my subconscious brain? Sam Ovens, right? Every one of us, because we're always on social media, because we're always on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, we start to form these kind of subconscious relationships, or maybe conscious relationships, with a lot of the people we see online, right? So what does this mean then? So basically what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of importance in knowing kind of who you're selling to rather than what you're selling, right? This is the first step. This is the second step, right? This is the foundations. So basically at the end of the day, who has the most data basically is the winner, right? If I have a ton of data about my prospect, if I know everything about them, like I said, who, what, where, when, why, how, then it's a lot easier for me to target them. It's a lot easier for me to sell them. Selling becomes a lot easier. Putting together what I'm selling becomes a lot easier. When you know this, down to the T. Cool. Okay, so next point. Knowing that data is very, very, very useful. So I got this from Forbes, and I want to read this to you guys because this is very interesting. So data is the new oil. Like oil, data is valuable, but if unrefined, it cannot really be used. So I want you to think about it like a gun and a bullet. You can have bullets and you can have a gun. Without the two, they're not useful. Same with a car and same with gas, right? the two rely on each other. I want you to think about gas as being a bullet, right? Or sorry, I want you to think about data as being a bullet. Cool, the bullet, when in a gun, can be fired and actually, hurt things. But the bullet alone is not going to do anything, right? It needs a vehicle to propel it. So it has to be changed into gas, plastic, chemicals, etc. to create valuable entity that drives profitable activity. So must data be broken down, analyzed for it to have value? Exactly. Data is the new oil because data can be used to derive insights. Depending on what a company does, insights can drive customer retention, upselling, new revenue models, advertising. If data is the new oil, insights are the new money, right? This basically just confirms what I said here about if you know everything about your consumer, then you can easily live in their subconscious mind. Cool. Okay. So this is quite interesting. So what does this mean then, right? You're a coach, you're someone who's selling something. What does this mean then? So this is quite interesting. This is kind of what I find to be interesting because this is more of the application to the real world. So this Forbes article came out I think 2 years ago. Companies like Google, Facebook, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Twitter, all these big social media companies, they came out 10 plus years ago. They realized this a long time ago. They realized that, we are transitioning to the information age. Data is the new oil. We need to go 100% all in on collecting data, right? So you may think, oh, Google is just a search engine that I could look things up, right? I can just go on Google and I could look up how to buy something, how to buy stocks, right? Cool. It's a search engine, right? I can go on Facebook, I can scroll, I can make a profile, I can talk to friends, right? I can go on Twitter, I can post cool things, I can look at other people doing cool things. Cool. Those are all things you can do on those platforms. But what do those platforms do? They mine data, they collect data all the time. So if you go into TikTok, there are terms and agreement. Pretty much, this is quite interesting. And all social media platforms do this, like literally Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everyone does this, or else their platforms would be literally useless. But TikTok, for example, this is just their terms and services. They collect data. They can see what you look up outside of the app. They collect keystroke patterns. So who you're texting, what are you texting to? What do you look up on Google, right? And they basically make this profile of you that is so specific. They know more about you than you do about you, right? And they basically use this data, they share it across other social medias, they sell it, and they basically use this for a reason, and I'm gonna get to that reason, right? So they basically deceivingly collect data by propping up these platforms that are so useful that everyone needs, so that they come on, they use it, but in exchange, if it's free, then you are the product, right? If things are free, then you are the product. If Pornhub is free, then you are the product. Pornhub collects data too, right? And they all sell their data around, right? So what does this mean then? What does this mean? Let's jump into this. So this means that you are being sold to, right? If it's free, you are being sold to. So I want you to realize this then. So we realize that now. Okay, this is kind of, if you're watching this, you're probably like, okay, this is kind of shocking to me. Maybe I already knew this, maybe I didn't, whatever. But these big companies, right? They're collecting your data and they're using it for advertisers. So all these companies have advertising platforms: Google ads, Facebook ads, Snapchat ads, WhatsApp ads, Twitter ads. They all make money by selling to advertisers different placements of ads to sell to people on the platform. So they realize that if they get a lot of people in one spot with tons of data around who's in that spot, what do they look like, then I can go onto that social media platform and can say, okay, I want to target people who are interested in health services, people who are interested in losing weight. Put up an ad and then say, okay, go algorithm. You have all this data. Show it to as many people as you can possibly show it to who are under that audience, right? Why? Because they've been collecting data for literally 20 years, forever, right? for fucking ever. So I want you to think like this now. Okay. So let's say you're doing some sort of cold outreach in your business. Let's just compare here. I want to just show you the difference here on how unleveraged you kind of are with your current processes. So let's say you're doing some form of cold outreach. You're doing maybe cold email, you're doing cold calling, cold DMing, whatever. You, as an individual, are collecting the data. You are finding people to call, to email, to text, right? You are now acting as the Facebook algorithm, the Twitter algorithm, and collecting data. And you're after maybe going to Google Maps, finding people. You're going to different websites and finding people and putting them in a list, and then cold calling, cold outbounding those people, right? Getting data yourself, reaching out to them, sifting through uninterested people, getting people on a sales call, and then they're not even fucking showing up. Talk about unleveraged, right? So what basically Meta, Facebook, all these social platforms came to the agreement of is, okay, instead of doing that, what if we just make a bank where people are interested in, that people need search engines, addictive scrolling platforms, collect the data and then sell it, right? What they did with that. So all this data has been collected for several years. They track literally everything. You type on browsers, type on your phone, your entire phone is a bug. And then, now let's say you do this, you use this data for your ideal client that is already basically scraped, exactly who you need, exactly what they look like. You just ask the platform. Then you throw your offer, you throw your volume on, and you let the platform take it away. Easy, right? So let's go through this. So if you're doing cold email, you're doing cold calling, I want you to think about two different strategies here, okay? Number one, you're doing a form of cold outbound, you're calling, whatever. You can only do so much a day. Even if you have people working for you, you can only do so much every day. Let's say you're doing every person on your team is doing 100 pieces of form of, let's say everyone's doing 100 dials of cold calls, which is a pretty reasonable number every day, right? Let's say if you want to do 1,000 pieces a day, you need 10 people on your team, okay? Now let's say the same thing where you have a phone call, right? Basically, form of outreach times 100,000, right? You can do this every day with Meta. You just pay them and they do it and they find the audience, right? And this is going directly to the people who would be most interested, which is sifted by the Meta platform, right? So like, let me even say this. Let's say you take the form of the consumer. Imagine every day you received a phone call from the same person. They're providing value, they're providing insights, they're trying to help you with something. You would feel like you would have to reciprocate some form of value back to them. Maybe pay them, maybe offer them a job, whatever, right? Now I want you to think about this in terms of an audience. Let's say you do this to 100,000 people, 1 million people, 10 million people in your audience through ads, which has already scraped the data through ads, then you are leveraged to the tits, right? So basically, remember when I brought up omnipresence in the start of the video, how omnipresence is the most, is what you need pretty much in your market, what you need with your company, with your offer. You want to be omnipresent. To get there, all you need is data, and then you need to propel that data with a vehicle. So you need gasoline, which is your data, and then you need a car to drive that, to burn that gasoline and move the car to a destination. Omnipresence, data plus volume. Awesome. So we covered quite a bit today. And if you found value to this video, just leave a thumbs up. But I found this very interesting because this is like what you need to be focusing on. Who has the most data is the winner. Who collects the most data will win. So I want you to be thinking, okay, if you're doing a form of cold outreach, cool, you can continue to do that. But think about ads, because these platforms have been collecting data for tons of years. And the people on these platforms are only, getting more, like there's only just more people flooding into these platforms every day. I think Facebook, let's go like this, Instagram users, 1.21 billion on Meta. Like, that's crazy, right? In 2021. So that's not even, like, we're at a few billion here, right? So, and it's just growing every day. So people are now being monitored. Everything's being monitored. So why not use it as an advertiser? Why not use this exponential growth of these platforms and kind of tag on like a leech in a way to get clients for your own business instead of collecting data yourself and reaching out manually. If you found value in this video, leave a thumbs up. If you're a personal trainer, if you're a health coach, I specifically work with personal trainers. If you're a personal trainer, hit me up in the DMs, hit me up. I do basically offer a done for you service where pretty much it's all on a pay per results basis. So all I do is I basically set up certain infrastructure in your business, help you with your offer. And I basically, usually in the results section, I add anywhere from 50 to 100,000 in lifetime value per month to your bottom line, all on a pay per results basis. So if you got value to this video, leave a thumbs up. I'm responding to all comments. I appreciate you guys.